there's no better education than getting out and seeing the world.
The experiences are what you're going to remember in the long run.
Getting out to see the world has just really opened my eyes to a lot of things.
I know a little bit about a lot of random things, and that's because of travel.
We're going to be able to learn so much about some really great destinations.
I'm excited about how this will improve our group itineraries.
I'm really looking forward to having great conversations about places. Welcome to Destination Dispatch.
Hello, I'm Jim Delleman with Group Travel Odyssey. Thank you for joining us once again today. This is the second week that we're going to be talking about Finland. We're going to be visiting the rest of Finland. Last week we talked a little bit more about Helsinki, but before we get started on all of that information, I do want to remind you to make sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you're watching us on YouTube. And if you ring the bell, you'll be notified anytime that we do have new content on our YouTube channel. You can also connect with us at LinkedIn, Group Travel Odyssey, and make sure to like this on Facebook and also follow us on Facebook as well. We've got a lot of stuff going on our social media, and on our YouTube channel, we've got some really great content and features that you can keep up to date on. So make sure to do that. As I said, today we're going back to Finland. We had such a great time last week. We want to learn even more. And coming back to join me again, we've got our co-hosts. First, we have Angelica Kennedy. Hi, Angelica.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm staying out of the smoke again today. For those of you who don't know, New York City is covered in yet more smoke today from the Canadian wildfires, which is kind of crazy. But Angelica and I are both based in New York, so we are going to be staying inside as much as possible today.
I'm KN95 masking it again for the first
exactly.
time in a while.
The masks are back out again. So yeah. Let's bring on our other co-host. He is the host of Destinations Beyond Expectations podcast, Stevie G. Hey, Stevie, how are you?
Hey, Jim and Angelica. I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing good. We were talking a little bit about the lovely fire smoke and stuff that we have up here, but you have the heat down there in Orlando, so I guess it's a give and take. But I would take the heat over the smoke right now, to be perfectly honest. So
yeah.
So did you all learn a lot last week when we were talking about Helsinki?
I learned a ton. I thought that was such a cool session.
Yeah, it really was. And Angelica, with you being from the Stockholm area, I know that's a neighboring country. And so it was nice, I'm sure, to revisit some of the information and some of the places that you probably already are familiar with.
Well, I mean, we don't travel our own countries nearly enough, the vast majority of us, or even our neighboring countries. So there was a lot for me to learn, too, that I didn't necessarily know. It makes me want to go home and go to Finland after having heard about those destinations and those itineraries. So I'm excited to learn more today.
Excellent. Well, let's go ahead and do that. I want to bring on our guest from Visit Finland. We have Heli Mende.
Hi.
Heli, welcome.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me. How are you?
Oh, doing well. We were discussing briefly the smoke situation. Heli's in New York area as well, and so she's been able to enjoy this craziness that we've been experiencing these past couple of days as well. But we're going to put all of that aside right now, and we want to learn more about Finland. And the first thing that I do want to ask is, what are the regions and destinations in Finland that are appealing and popular for group travel?
Well, basically in our Visit Finland marketing, we divide our country in 4 main regions, and I would like to talk a little bit about each of the regions. And last week you had the webinar about Helsinki region, so I'm going to recap some things about the Helsinki region as well, and then the other interesting parts of the country to visit. And in all those regions, we do get groups from all over the world, but of course Helsinki, being the capital city of Finland, is the one that receives the most of the tourists and travelers coming from different parts of the world. So actually in the Helsinki area, we have 1/5 of the population living, and we are only 5.5 million people living in the whole country, which means that in the metropolitan Helsinki area, there are about 1 million people living in that part. And the region is obviously named after the capital city of Helsinki. And Helsinki is located right by the sea in the southern coast of Finland. It is also very conveniently located by the Baltic Sea with close distance to Tallinn, which is the capital of Estonia. So there are speed ferries taking you in 2 hours to visit the neighboring country, Estonia, and their capital city. Flight time to Stockholm in Sweden is only 55 minutes, and there are also overnight cruise boats going between those two cities. So really easy access to the other countries nearby at the Baltic Sea region. Helsinki is a really compact city and easy to explore on foot or by bike if you are more adventurous, or by public transportation. And of course, with your tour bus, it's easy to go and see all the main sightseeing destinations in Helsinki. There are many different types of hotels in Helsinki, many boutique style hotels as well, also bigger hotels. In different categories. In general, we have a lot of very high quality 3 and 4-star hotel accommodation in Helsinki that is typical Nordic style, good quality hotel room accommodation, also in 3-star category level. We have several Michelin star restaurants, but also many laid back dining options in Helsinki. And especially for architecture lovers, Helsinki is a gem because there is a lot of modern architecture to explore, but also Helsinki has over 600 Art Nouveau buildings in the city, which is more than in Barcelona or in Brussels when talking specifically about the Art Nouveau style. And in Helsinki, you really can sense the proximity of the sea everywhere because the city itself has about 100 miles of shoreline and around 300 islands in its own archipelago. And one of the most popular places to visit is the UNESCO heritage site, Suomenlinna Island, which is only about 20 minutes ferry ride from the city center. There are also ferries to the other islands in Helsinki area, and there are many nice summer restaurants in those islands. So it's a really nice excursion to take a ferry to one of the islands and then maybe walk around a little bit and then have a nice lunch or dinner there. And some of the islands, like for example, Suomenlinna Islands, are really popular for local people as well for going for picnics during the summer season. Popular destination near Helsinki is Old Town Porvoo, which is about 45 minutes drive from Helsinki. Porvoo has a beautiful wooden old town with many, and you can buy handicrafts made by local artisans and chocolate local options as well. And then for those who are interested in more in nature, there is a Nuuksio National Park, also only about 45 minutes drive away from Helsinki. And they have short by open fire and have a little break in the nature. We have 41 national parks actually in Finland altogether. So there are many options to visit national parks, and they are all free. And besides the national parks, we actually have freedom to roam in Finland, which is also same in Sweden and Norway. It means that you are able to access also all privately owned lands and go walking or hiking, big berries, fish with rod, or even camp as long as you are not going too near the private homes on those lands. Then the second region that I wanted to talk a little bit about is the coast and archipelago region of Finland. We have one of the largest archipelagos in the world, in fact, with 70,000 islands, although about 20,000 of those islands are big enough to have a cabin or summer house on those islands, or several. Some of them are quite big as well. And some of these islands also have beautiful old lighthouses that are converted into tiny ascetic hotels. Turku is the largest city in this region, and it's only about 2 hours by bus or by train from Helsinki. Turku was founded in the late 13th century, and Turku Castle has a great museum where you can learn more about the life in the medieval times in Finland. And today's Turku boasts with a very lively restaurant scene. And for example, a food walk tour is a great way to explore the culinary experiences in Turku region. And in fact, now they are hosting the Nordic Michelin Revelation event in Turku. There are lots of food-related events going on at this moment in Turku. The third region is the Lakeland region, which covers most of the southern part of Finland, because even though Finland is known as the land of thousand lakes, we in fact have 188,000 lakes in Finland. So
Wow.
there are lots of lakes for everyone to visit. And people often ask me, well, how is the summer temperature in Finland? I mean, is it warm? Is it cold? Uh, During the summertime, the average temperatures in the southern part of Finland, also in the Lakeland region, can be something around 68 to even to 85 Fahrenheit. During the past years, the summers have been getting warmer and warmer in Finland as well. And then one thing that I want to mention, which is a big part of our lifestyle everywhere in Finland, but especially in the Lakeland region, is sauna. And I think everybody in the world knows the word sauna or sauna as we pronounce it in Finnish, but not so many people know that it is actually a Finnish word. And Finnish sauna is dating thousands of years back, and like mentioned, it's still a really big part of our culture and well-being traditions. And in the Lakeland region, you find a lots of cottages, summer houses, and of course, every single one of them has a private sauna. But there are actually very nice small boutique style resorts with saunas and cottages and cabins and even hotel rooms with own saunas as well. So when you come to Finland, you must try the Finnish sauna at least once, and there are many options to try, because there are actually in a country of 5.5 million people, there are about 3 million saunas in the whole country. So you really have the option to try. And of course, there are all these possible water activities available in the lakeside area, or just do a small nature walks and hikes. But there's also history and culture in that area. So we have also medieval castles in the southern Lakeland region. And then finally, the last region I wanted to mention, which is also very popular for groups actually year round, the regions of Lakeland area and archipelago may be more summer destinations, but Lapland is a destination where we get groups from all over the world during the winter season, but also during the summer season. And the most popular reason why people come to Finland during are the Northern Lights, as you see here in the video. And the further north you go, the better the chances obviously are to see the Northern Lights. And in Finnish Lapland, you can see them for more than 200 nights a year. And the Northern Light season actually starts already in the end of August, because that's when the nights are dark enough that you can actually see the Northern Lights. And the season ends in April, early April, when the nights start to get so short that you don't really see them, although there is always solar activity there. And the season then starting in April and May is called the midnight sun season. So actually there is one very long day during the summer season of 6 weeks when the sun doesn't set at all in Lapland, in the northern part of Finland.
Wow.
There are 4 airports serving that area, so it's really easy access from Helsinki. The flight time being about 1 hour and 15 to 1 hour and 30 minutes. There are, though, permanently people living not that many, and there are actually more reindeer living in that part of the country than people. But you have beautiful hotel resorts, destinations all around Lapland. We have many big ski resorts, as well as smaller wilderness resorts as well. So there is everything for everybody. And I would like to talk a little bit about one possible itinerary later during this webinar, if possible.
Great.
So this was just a really quick, peek on the different regions, which I think are all really, really interesting for groups, depending on what their interests are and what time of the year the groups are traveling.
You really sold me on the destination, I have to say, even though I come from the country next door. And I'd like to jump on a plane now. how do I get to you?
Yes. Well, if you come from the US, you obviously then fly to Helsinki, which is our main international airport. Finnair, our national carrier, which is also part of One World Alliance, flies from several gateways from the US. So they fly year round from New York, Los Angeles, and Dallas. And additionally, during the summer season, starting from early April until end of October, also from Chicago and Seattle. And then during the winter time, there is a direct flight Helsinki, Miami, Helsinki as well. So that's the best way. There are, of course, other airlines as well. So you can reach Helsinki through all European gateways with a lot of different airlines as well. And then, like mentioned, if you want to then explore the country further beyond Helsinki, and I really hope that the groups would do that as well. So then the best ways to travel in the southern part of the country is either with a tour bus, or if it's a smaller group, they can also take a train, because we have a really good train system in Finland. And then if going up to the north, the fastest way obviously is to fly and then continue with the tour bus exploring the northern part of the country. Or you can, of course, drive as well from Helsinki, but the driving time, for example, from Helsinki to the Arctic Circle would be close to 10 hours.
You mentioned the tour bus, and I kind of want to ask you a little bit more about that. Is traveling by bus pretty popular for groups traveling around Finland?
Yeah, we do get a lot of groups from different parts of the world. So basically, during the summer season, the main summer season would be from May till end of September, early October. For southern part of the country for bus tours. And then for the winter season, we usually get groups that are coming first to Helsinki and then flying further to the north, and then continuing there on a tour with the bus, either exploring one destination or then also more destinations in the north. Also in the summertime, we are getting now more and more tour groups as well to the north to see the midnight sun phenomenon, which is quite spectacular as well. If the group has, for example, 7 to 10 days time, they can visit easily several regions in Finland, especially in the southern part. If they want to go to the north, that of course is possible as well. I would maybe consider then the option of flying and then continue with the bus, like mentioned. But also in the shorter tours, 3 to 6 days, there are different ways to do this. Either we start always from Helsinki and then you explore one of the regions that I mentioned with the bus. Or if you want to again go to north, it's possible, but then you would have to fly and maybe pick just one destination there in the northern part of the country.
Wow, that sounds. It sounds like there's so much to do, and we've discussed the boat trips and everything in Helsinki, and then going up and taking advantage of seeing the midnight sun, and also seeing the aurora and the beauty of the northern part. What do you feel is something that more groups should do or should take advantage of when they come to visit Finland?
Yeah, well, I also already mentioned the sauna experience. So I think it's such a big part of our culture and well-being traditions. So, and there are, like I said, there are so many ways to do that. You can do it totally in your own privacy and in a private sauna experience, or you can, if you're more interested in meeting the locals, then maybe visiting one of the public saunas in Helsinki, for example. That's one thing. Then I definitely would recommend adding a program element where the group has the opportunity to meet, for example, a local farmer, especially in the north. There are lots of these reindeer farms where you can visit the reindeer herders, because it's still a really important part of the livelihoods in the northern part, especially with the indigenous Sami communities, to understand their way of life. But also in the southern part of Finland, you can meet the local farmer. You can learn about the local cuisine. Maybe even learn to make some local delicacies or traditional dishes like, for example, Carillion pie, which is a very, very traditional thing. And we have some service providers that organize these kind of workshops where you make and bake these pies yourself and learn a little bit about the Finnish local culture at the same time.
So you actually started hitting upon one of the questions that I had, and I'd love if you could go into it a little more depth, because you started mentioning, this idea of cooking your own cuisine or meeting a local farmer. What are some other sort of special interests or customized programs or groups? Like if we're talking architecture, for example, as opposed to cuisine or farmer, or adventure or something specific culturally. Do you have any heavy hitting points with those sort of special interests?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe I'll start with music, because in the Lakeland, Eastern Lakeland region, in Savonlinna, there is a medieval castle called St. Olaf's Castle, Olavinlinna in Finnish, but St. Olaf's Castle. And every summer, the whole July, this medieval castle, which is built on a small island, is the stage for a very famous opera festival called Savonlinna Opera Festival. So people who are into classical music, this is a really exciting and beautiful place to go. I go there myself every year, and we do get groups from, especially during from different parts of Europe. But I really think that we probably have customers in the US that still don't know about this opportunity, but could be really interesting for them. And the stage is just, and the medieval castle is just so spectacular. And you can also, before the opera performance, you can, for example, take the group on an old steamship to a cruise on one of the biggest lakes in Europe, Lake Saimaa. You can have a dinner or early dinner served on during the cruise. You can have some music on board as well, and then the steamship can actually dock right by the castle, so the people can go straight then to watch the performance on this at the castle. So that's one thing. Then, of course, Finland is a really great destination for design and architecture lovers, and Finnish timeless design like Iittala, Fiskars, Marimekko are world famous, and Helsinki has a lot of wonderful examples of modern architecture. For example, our newest library, the Helsinki National Library, which is called Oodi. It was built when Finland was celebrating its 100th year of independence in 2017, and it is a masterpiece of modern architecture. And it's also sort of a living room for us Helsinki people. So it's also a great way to go and meet local people, because Helsinki people really do spend time there. You have a restaurant there, you have a bar, you have a beautiful terrace and cafe. There are meeting rooms that you can book for free. There are music studios that you can use, especially young people use those. They can rent music instruments there. There are 3D laser printers and even sewing machines for people to rent and use. So interesting place to visit. And like mentioned earlier, Helsinki has over 600 Art Nouveau buildings, which is also one really interesting factor for people interested in architecture. And then some people who know more about architecture probably recognize the name Alvar Aalto, which is one of the most famous architects in modern architecture. And there is a museum dedicated to his work in central Finland in Jyväskylä. And there are also many buildings designed by Alvar Aalto in Jyväskylä, and the groups can have guided tours to visit the buildings and, of course, the museum about Alvar Aalto. And then Finland is a great destination for adventure lovers, because we have so many nature-related activities to offer, both in winter and in summer. In wintertime, you can go, snowmobiling, also with electric snowmobiles nowadays. You can go skiing, downhill skiing, or learning cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, learn to drive rally car on the ice, or take an icebreaker cruise, for example, at the sea coast of Lapland. Or in the summertime, there is hiking, possibilities. You can go fishing, river rafting, canoeing, whatever you want to do in the nature. And then maybe for people interested in sports, you may know that Finland is an ice hockey country. Well, Angelica, you know for sure because we always rivaling Finland and Sweden, who is better in ice hockey. So Finland really is also a big ice hockey country. So there are lots of big ice hockey tournaments, and just recently we also had the ice hockey world championships held again in Finland, in Tampere. So many different options for sports groups interested in sports events.
Wow. It doesn't matter. It seems like whatever your interests are, there are things for you to do, and there are specialties in Finland that will take care of that, and that you can cater to all of these different groups, which is incredible. We want to continue this conversation, and we will. But first, Stevie, how about a few words from some of our partners?
Group Travel Odyssey would like to take a moment to thank our amazing partners, including Book My Group, Travel Advocates, We Travel, Broadway Inbound, and Fly My Group. These partnerships help make business without boundaries possible, and we encourage our viewers to learn more about these wonderful companies. Now, back to Destination Dispatch.
Well, now that we are back, one of the things that we wanted to do, you've talked about how it doesn't matter really the time of the year, that there are so many things to do in Finland. So let's go over a couple of sample itineraries that will show you things that you can do in the winter and things that you can do in the summer. And just for all of our GTO members, this document that we're working on is going to be loaded into our system. So you'll be able to find that on our community forum page. So be alert of that, and you'll be able to get all of this information, including Heli's contact information as well. So let's go ahead and get started on our first itinerary. So first we have Helsinki, Northern Lights. Sam, this is a winter tour that we're doing now, correct?
Actually, I think this tour is really a nice tour also during the snowless period. So basically, as mentioned, the Northern Light season starts already in end of August or early September. That's when the nights are dark enough. So, and the snowless period would be September, October. Usually the first snow in the north comes early November, and then there will be snow. Nowadays looks like that sometimes even in the further north above the Arctic Circle, sometimes we get to go skiing in the end of May, until the end of May easily. But usually we would say that the snow season would be from beginning of November till mid-April, guaranteed snow. So, but like mentioned, if not interested in doing the snow activities, September, October, really great time as well, doing this kind of tour, starting first in Helsinki. And for example, all the typical sightseeing spots would be the first one where to start, obviously, on a tour to learn a little bit what Helsinki is about. Then I definitely would recommend going to the Suomenlinna Island, which is the UNESCO Heritage Site island. Then maybe doing a half-day tour to Old Porvoo, which earlier I mentioned about 45 minutes or about drive about from Helsinki by bus, and then optionally also going to the Nuuksio National Park to do some nature activities there. And then, of course, trying to finish sauna. But before that, doing some shopping, maybe having some free time for the group in Helsinki, because that's what we always hear from everybody visiting Helsinki, that they really want to have some free time as well and explore the city center and do some shopping and explore the local design shops and also maybe cafes, because you might not know, but Finnish people actually are the biggest coffee drinkers in the world per capita. So we have a lot of cafes and coffee shops in Helsinki. Very good. So then after Helsinki, then I would recommend that the group would fly to the north. The flight time from Helsinki is about 1 hour and 20 minutes by Finnair. And then you are actually there at the Arctic Circle, but there is a place where you can officially cross the Arctic Circle, and the place is called Santa Claus Village, and it is built right at the Arctic Circle. And Rovaniemi has branded itself as the hometown of Santa Claus, so that's where Santa Claus officially lives, not in Greenland, not in North Pole, at the Arctic Circle in Finnish Lapland. And Santa Claus Village is open 365 days a year. So you can meet Santa Claus every day of the year there. December is crazy busy because everybody wants to come to meet him in December. So that's the high season there in Rovaniemi in general, but also especially in the Santa Claus Village. But you can go there also during a little bit slower period of time, and just to have the same experience, a little bit maybe even nicer, because there are not so many crowds there. There is also Santa Claus post office, so you can if you go there in October, you can mail your letters and your postcards, and you can choose either them to be sent straight away, or they can hold them and then mail them for you a little bit closer to Christmas. So that's a service that they provide as well at the Santa Claus Village. And then you can, of course, take all the Instagrammable pictures when you literally cross the Arctic Circle, because it's marked very well there. And then visiting a reindeer farm, I think, would be a great way for the group to learn about the local life, the life of the reindeer herders, and then having some type of Northern Lights excursion. Of course, if the Northern Lights appear, you can see them everywhere there. But sometimes you have to have the local guide who knows where the best place is to see them, because they might not be always visible through the clouds exactly there where your group is accommodated. So the local guides, they know where to take the group for Northern Lights picnic, or even for luxury groups, there is a possibility to book up a small airplane and go above the clouds to see the Northern Lights. So there are many different ways, depending on the budget of the group, obviously. And then, of course, there are many of these nature snow activities. So during the snowless time, you can go for little small hikes and in the forest. Even in September is a great time for foraging wild berries, lingonberries or blueberries, and you can just eat them straight from where you find them. We have the cleanest air and the cleanest waters in that part of the world, so everything is clean, so you don't have to worry about that like we have right now here in New York. So I really miss the Finnish air at the moment. And then, of course, sauna as optional. And then local culinary experiences is a must. There are many of these what we call kota. It's sort of a lapis teepee built by the Sami people originally, but we have plenty of those for groups to visit, and we can cater for the groups local culinary experiences. Salmon, of course, we eat a lot, but then reindeer meat is actually very popular, especially in the north. But there are, of course, other local culinary experiences to explore as well. And my suggestion for this type of tour would be 6 days. So 3 days, maybe 2-3 days in Helsinki, 3 or 4 days in Lapland, in Rovaniemi.
That's fantastic. That's really great. And we do have several other itineraries on here for those of you. Again, you can visit these. You can find these on the community forum in GTO. But we're also going to take a look at another one. This is the Helsinki and Lakeland tour.
Yes, and this is a great tour for people who are interested in history, culture, and nature, and just meeting local people in Finland as well. So first, again, starting in Helsinki, maybe a couple of days in Helsinki doing the sightseeing tours there, and again visiting the UNESCO heritage site, Suomenlinna Fortress Island, then doing a little bit shopping and dining in Helsinki, and then continuing by bus. Depending of the group size, of course, but if bigger group, then a tour bus to a little bit to the northwest of Helsinki. First stop being in a place called Hämeenlinna. I know Finnish words are not the easiest to pronounce, so you will hear a couple of very difficult names in this itinerary, but Hämeenlinna is the first one. Linna means castle, actually in Finnish language.
Okay.
So Hammock Castle is located in Hämeenlinna, and I suggest to have a stop there to visit the Hammock Castle, and then maybe have a lunch in that area. There is a really beautiful nature reserve area called Aulanko in Hämeenlinna area. So beautiful place to have a lunch. And then continuing the tour to Tampere. By the way, the driving time from Helsinki to Hämeenlinna is only about a little over an hour, so very easy access. And then from Hämeenlinna to Tampere, also in about an hour. So I suggest to next continue the tour to Tampere, which is one of the 3 biggest cities in Finland. And then after a walking tour, maybe have an afternoon coffee in Tampere, and then continue to Jyväskylä, driving time about 1 hour and a half, and then spending the night in Jyväskylä, maybe with dinner and sauna experience, because actually Jyväskylä is the sauna capital of the world. They have a lot of different types of saunas to experience. So I think that would be a really interesting experience for the group to go and see. You can visit, not maybe experience, but at least understand a little bit more about how the saunas have been evolving during the centuries. There you can visit the smoke sauna, which is one of the early sauna types, and then you can also visit the more modern saunas. And then next day, visiting Alvar Aalto Museum in Jyväskylä, learning more about his architecture and design, and then continuing to the eastern Lakeland region to Savonlinna. And there you can take a steamboat cruise on Lake Saimaa and visit the Olavinlinna Castle, St. Olaf's Castle, to learn about the history in that area. And then spending the night in that area, and then next day maybe having a forest walk and lunch in one of the boutique hotels or resorts in the by the lake area. And then there is a possibility also to do a Saimaa ring seal boat tour. And the reason why I've added this here is that Saimaa ring seal is a very special animal. It's actually the only freshwater seal in the world. So you can only find it in Lake Saimaa, which is located in Finland. And there is a possibility to take a boat tour to the areas where the Saimaa ring seals are living. We can't guarantee, obviously, that you get to see them, but sometimes you get lucky and you may see them. They're very cute little animals, but the guides will tell you more about their animals and all the animals and vegetation in the area as well. And then maybe having overnight in city of Mikkeli, which is a little bit south from Savonlinna, with the dinner. There is a really beautiful manor house there in Mikkeli area, which is also still operating farmhouse, and they produce almost everything in their own farm that they serve in their restaurants. It's a really nice place to stop for a dinner. And then next day, continuing by bus back to Helsinki. So 6 days tour, and the best season for this type of tour would be from June to September.
Okay, that's great. And again, there are a couple of other tours here that we have, but also I wanted to put this page up because this does give all of your contact information as well. So if people do want to get in touch and find out more, please reach out. We have been putting the email address and stuff like that also on the bottom of our screen during this whole program, but we wanted to let you know there's more information. There's so much more. We've just scratched the surface with these itineraries and with everything that there is to do in Finland. So please reach out and get more information. I'm sure that Heli would love to hear from you and help you plan an exceptional group experience for your groups. Again, traveling abroad, traveling from the US over to Finland is not difficult, and your groups will love you for it. So think outside of the box, think of other things to do. And that's why we have people like Heli that will help you through this whole process. So Heli, thank you so much for spending time with us today and for giving us all of this fantastic information on things to do different things to do in Finland, and the seasonality of, certain things to do in the north, certain things to do in the southern parts, and that there are so many different things that people can experience when they come to Finland.
Thank you for the opportunity. And yes, like said, happy to help if you have any questions. And also check our website, visitfinland.com. We have lots of really good information there, lots of articles of the different things to do in Helsinki. But thank you for inviting me to be part of it.
You're so welcome. Stay safe today. Stay inside. Stay outside of the smoke. So
likewise.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Just to let everybody know that as well as doing Destination Dispatch, we also have other programs at Group Travel Odyssey. We have GTO Coach and Go, which happens every other Tuesday at 2:00, and both this program and the GTO Coach and Go can be found on our YouTube channel. So if you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. And also, if you ring the bell, you'll be notified whenever we do have new content on our YouTube channel. We've got some great features up there. All of our destination dispatches are there, as well as our Coach and Goes, but we also have some fun videos that we've done with our team. So make sure to check all of that information out. Again, you can follow us on Facebook. You can also connect with us on LinkedIn as well. Angelica, if they want more information about Group Travel Odyssey, how can they get that?
They can hop onto our website, which is grouptravelodyssey.com, which is more specifically focused on our actual software and some of the other exciting products that we have. So we hope you'll visit us there as well.
Fantastic. And Stevie G, how can we find out more about Destinations Beyond Expectations podcast?
Well, you can type in Destinations Beyond Expectations on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, anywhere podcasts are available. Or you can go to dbetravel.com. That's the official website. New episodes on Fridays. This Friday, we're actually going to the wonderful city of Montreal and just talking about some of the amazing things and amazing ways you can experience the city if you're going to spend a few days in Montreal. So I'm really looking forward to that. That episode's dropping tomorrow. And like I said, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, dbetravel.com.
Wonderful. Well, as always, it's been great spending time with both of you. And hopefully all of you watching have learned a lot more about different places that you can take your groups. So don't be afraid, and make sure, again, reach out to Heli, and she will be more than happy to help you plan an exceptional group experience for your group in Finland. Thank you all. And until next time, take care.
Thank you for watching this episode of Destination Dispatch. We invite you to stay connected with Group Travel Odyssey on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, and be sure to check out more of our media, including GTO Coach and Go and the Destinations Beyond Expectations podcast. Please visit our website, grouptravelodyssey.com, where you can learn more about GTO and request a demo. Group Travel Odyssey, business without boundaries.